Hello and welcome everyone again into another video. Today's video we will talk about the Hisui Cup, the best Pokemon and the best teams in this new Cup format. I don't think if we've ever had Hisui Cup. I remember we had something like Sinnoh Cup. Hisui Cup is technically something similar with like 2-3 more Pokemons. So what are the main Pokemons in Hisui Cup? Well, as always, I'm going to divide them into lead, safe swap, and annoying. What does annoying mean? You won't be happy to see one of those Pokemons when you play this cup. This cup is kind of like an RPS-ish cup. I do remember back in the days in the Sinnoh Cup, because Sinnoh and Hisui Cup are like literally the same. The only non-RPS Pokemon was Gliscor, so expect that Pokemon to be everywhere, even though it doesn't have the best the best charge move or the best stats. But what it does have is it's the least RPS Pokemon. Gastrodon back in the days in the Sinnoh Cup was bad. It's not slightly. It's much better now, just because Mudslap is just insanely good. Now, if we take a look at the PvP ranking, you can see that Drapion is number 1 and number 2. That's how good Drapion is, followed by Dusknoir and Gastrodon. Those pretty much are going to be like the bread and butter for this cup. Any Pokemon you will use, you're going to end up using 2 of those 3. But there is a Spiritomb, which is kind of the second best dark, not the best, the second best. What does Spiritomb do in this cup? It's literally like a Sableye with the Sucker Punch instead of Shadow Claw. I mean, it has Rock too. That's something decent about it. You can see Gliscor, Gligar, Dusknoir, Gallade. What does Gallade do? Gallade beat everything except the things that above him. Vespiquen, it has a Fury Cutter and X-Scissor and Power Gem. It doesn't have Rock Tomb, so that's like the main downside about it. And we have a Mamoswine as the Powder Snow, or you could actually use it as a Mud Slapper. It does have Mud Slap. Remember, it has Icicle Spear. So it's technically like a better version of Gastro, except that Gastro is much tankier. So if you need a tanky one, you go with Gastro. If you need a hard-hitting one, you can go with Shadow Mamoswine. Yes, Shadow Mamoswine. Drifloon is another good ghost that you could use. So, but in my list, if you could see, I divide them into lead and safe swaps. The best safe swap in this cup, I would say, arguably, is Cress, but Cress is too difficult to use in this cup because there are too many Dark and Ghost and Steel type. So you would prefer to use something like Gliscor here, something like Spiritomb. Spiritomb is actually a decent safe swap. Empoleon is a good safe swap too, because like, what does beat Empoleon? The Mudslappers. Well, yes and no. You use Empoleon to bait out the Mudslapper, or that means you have a Basti in the back. So if you have Basti in the back, you need to bait out the Mudslapper. So you have to use one of those as a bait. Mainly Gastrodon is going to be in the lead. So if it's in the lead, you know, like, yeah, you'd be like, okay, I can stay in, but you safe swap Empoleon to bait out the Gastrodon if it's still in the back. I wouldn't say it's the best bait out. I would rather just bait it out with the Drapion and sweep with Empoleon. Empoleon is preferred to be Shadow. I myself don't have the Shadow. I'm not sure, okay? I need to double check. But I think that the best lead here in the entire cup are Dusknoir. I mean, it loses to the Drapion, but just pray that the Drapion is not Shadow. Last time during the Sinnoh Cup, Drapion wasn't running Poison Sting. They were running Bite and Ice Fang, either of those two. So expect some new shenanigans you've never seen in this cup. Werdeer is just another a bad version of Oxy, and Oxy is a bad version of Cress because it's a Confusion user, and you can see that so many stuff don't care about Confusion in this cup. Now, Bronzong has Metal Sound and Faint Attack and Confusion. You could choose either of those. It has Psyshock as well. So the thing is, like, it's very good typing. It's just not the ideal moveset you would like to run. Remember that Heatran is something you could use in this cup. And there is Toxicroak. Why Toxicroak is annoying? Well, it's one of the weakest Pokemons, but you can run, I think, Mudshot, Poison Jab, or Counter. So either of those 3 are, like, viable in this cup. I would still prefer to run Counter, to be honest, or at least Mudshot, but I don't think Poison Jab would be the sauce. So these are like the Pokemons you will see. Sneasler, by the way, Sneasler is one of very few Pokemons that can beat Dusknoir and the Drapion, and simply because it has Shadow Claw to destroy this, and has close combat to one-shot the Drapion, almost one-shot. It does like 80, I think 85%. So these are like the main Pokemon you will see. Now let's talk about the top teams, and I think the best team in this cup has to be Drapion with Gastrodon, and the third is up to you. I think in this team, as an example, we have Mamoswine. What does Mamoswine do? It's a Powder Snow Icicle High Horsepower spam Pokemon. I mean, Ice is kind of underrated in this cup. Also, it beats Drapion because you resist poisons. Doesn't ground resist poison? I think it does. But to be honest, I looked at the cup. I think with Mud Slap, it's kind of better because you can just slap down a Drapion. And if you run Shadow, you just become like a bulldoze, you know? Like, you just bulldoze everything, you know? Like, Mud Slap everything down in this cup. 2 shield it, Mud Slap all the way down. But if we're talking about a good Drapion counter that I myself will be using, I'm going to use Lucario. Why Lucario? It's Force Spam. Like, Force Spam is like the old counter, but on 3 turns instead of on 2 turns. Not as ideal, but it's still a decent fast move. One of the best. Thunder Punch, Shadow Ball are like still the ideal moveset you run. You can pair it with a Gliscor, to be honest, like, because you do need a hard answer to the Gastro. And you could use a Drapion or a Drifloon as a third. A Drapion running Crunch, Poison, Aqua Tail. Poison Sting, Crunch, Aqua Tail. The team, as you can see, is ABA weak to Gastro. You play that the Gastro is in the back. If you think that the Gastros will be in the lead, you can just do this and safe swap with Drapion and leave Lucario in the back. These teams are always flexible, by the way. You don't have to stick to whatever I have them. Now, moving into the Dusknoir, which I do think that it's like kind of the best neutral Pokemon outside Drapion, Gastro. If you don't want to use the Drapion, I think you can just go Dusknoir and 2 stuff that hard beat the Drapion. If you can do the Shadow Mamoswine again, that would be more ideal. The best safe swap in this team, if you are running Powder Snow Mamoswine, it's going to be the safe swap, Powder Snow Ace-Knife. If you're running Mud Slap, you just safe swap Gastro. And don't look at the moveset here. You don't run Earth Power in this cup, you run Water Pulse. Why? Because there is a Gliscor, there is a Drifloon in this cup, and you don't want to get walled by both. So you have to run Water Pulse, don't run Earth Power. Why do you have Earth Power then? Because there's lots of people who watch these videos and actually just click throughout the video. So I need to make sure those people get trapped. If you made it this far, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Next one. I think this is the team that I'm more likely to run if I'm running Gastro. Gastro with the double Ghost. One to bait out a Drapion, and the other one is just to sweep if a Drapion is baited out. Like, I will save swap Dusknoir, and if they bring in Bastion as an example, you have Dynamic Punch to take care of that. And if they bring in Drapion, you also have the Dynamic Punch. I think you kinda run Non-Shadow, because the Non-Shadow does survive a crunch, and with Energy Lead, you can put like lots of work, like an actual tons of work into the Drapion. If both are Non-Shadow, who does run Non-Shadow Drape? I've seen Non-Shadow Drape more than the Shadow Drape in the Sinnoh Cup. I think the reason was it has to be to do with like Basti or something. So people were running the Non-Shadow. You run the Shadow if you need to run Bite. The second team that is almost the same. As you can see, I had my favorite because I was like, am I gonna run this? And I was like, I don't run ABB teams, so let's just do Empoleon double Ghost. No, this is an ABC team. We don't have double stuff. Empoleon Shadow with Metallic Claw, Hydro Cannon, and Drill Pick. You could still run Waterfall, to be honest, but the Metallic Claw like just had like a, you know, like good. It's 2-turn fast move, so that's why I prefer it. That's literally the main reason. As far as the Mr. Dusknoir, he's the only Pokemon that kind of get countered by Drapion on this team, because Empoleon does neutral damage and resists Poison Sting, while Gastro just can slap that thing to death. But if you are a Basti fan and you don't have skills, you lack the skills in this game, you can just run triple tap. You just tap your opponent all the way down. You run Waterfall here, by the way. You don't run Metal Claw. Why? Because you want to tap your opponent all the way down. As far as Drifloon, you could do Drifloon double dark poison. This is one of the most common teams last time. This one could be Basti, could be Empoleon, could even be Lucario, to be honest. Could be Togekiss as well. Any Pokemon like you want. Those two were like the main codes last time. We had a Sinnoh Cup. I mean, Sinnoh and Hisui Cup are literally almost the same. I don't know what's the difference so far. Like, I think Dusknoir or something. I mean, Dusknoir was bad last time, so maybe that's why it wasn't a thing. Another one, stay in lead. I call it stay in lead. Why? Because Spiritomb is the Pokemon, like, you don't fight for lead, but you don't swap out, because this Pokemon has a play into everything in this cup. You have Shadow Ball as to dish out a neutral damage. You have Rock Tomb to debuff your opponent. And because you're Poison Dark, you're technically not weak to Dark. You beat this. Gastro is annoying against you, to be honest. But to be honest, like with the Spiritomb, you're just gonna neutralize all the matchups. You don't get hard countered. You have a play into everything, so you just stay in the lead no matter what, and then try to get energy lead on your Dusknoir or Gastro. Another team, I call it hard-hitting team. This is basically triple Shadow. You don't run on Shadows here. You go full gas, no break, who cares, right? And you just nuke. And that's pretty much it for today's video. So thanks so much everyone for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like the video, don't forget to leave a like to the video. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And I will catch you all in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, night, or whatever you're having. Peace.